Hi everyone, good day. So for today's topic, we are going to talk about manga literature, its characteristics, and genres. This would be my requirement for the presentation for the contemporary, popular, and emergent literature. I am Ayzel Bernardo, and I am going to be your reporter for today. Okay, so before anything else, I would just like to remind you that I have a copy here, obviously, of my report, and I'm going to be reading it to you so that you could understand it clearly. But before we proceed to the discussion of the characteristics and genres, I am just going to ask you to think about the words or about the ideas that come to your mind when we say manga literature. So ako kasi before, hindi ko talaga alam tong mga manga na to kasi hindi naman ako mahilig sa Japanese stuff and sa anime. Like, no. Pero ngayon, nakakapanood na ako ng ilan, ganyan, and nagiging aware na ako sa Japanese literature. Okay, so manga or Japanese graphic novels usually available in the United States in English translation. The word manga has come today to be understood as referring to graphic novels, though its literal meaning is whimsical pictures. Manga are a combination of visual and written stories similar to, but not exactly as the same as Western comics. Manga are set up similarly to comics with detailed art panels containing bubbles of speech. So yun nga, like the typical na comic, parang comic na makikita natin. Parang ganun din ang manga. Kaso nga lang, mas nakastick siya dun sa Japanese literature kasi mamaya malalaman nyo kung paano yung pagkaka-arrange ng panel ng manga. And also, yung sa manga literature naman, magkaiba pa rin siya sa Western comics. Kasi nga syempre, more in English lit yun eh. So, ito namang sa manga, meron silang specific rules, ganyan, standards na nilalagay. At iba rin talaga yung character and yung pattern, unlike sa Western comics. Since alam na natin kung ano ang manga, let us proceed to the characteristics of manga literature. Okay, so as you can see here, the first characteristic that manga literature possesses is the layered panels express a character's complex feelings. Ayan, isa to sa pinakamagandang characteristic ng manga kasi hindi lang siya basta panel na pinagsisiksikan mo dun yung thought or yung story. Meron talaga siyang history kung paano siya nagsimula. Like this one. I-analyze natin. Okay. On the right page, the top and bottom tiers of panels of recollection sandwiches her faces as she meditates on her past. Ayan. So, ang pagbabasa dito is from right to left. Right muna yung pinaka-pinatasapusan. The artist draws her anyway, so it seems our protagonist peeps from the present time into the world of past memories. The forefront visible part of the page, or the gamen, consists of the settings of her memories, and we have the spoken words of a boy character who appears in those scenes. Furthermore, there appears to be a floating in the foreground things like strange bubbles and onomatopoeia that straddle the panel frames, waku or mata. So, ayun nga. So, although hindi naman natin naiintindihan yung mga yung dito nakasulat, kasi syempre it's Japanese, pero nakikita natin sa illustration na kung ano yung gustong ipakita ng artist. Although medyo malabo to kasi karamihan talaga sa manga is black and white. Like, plain sketch talaga siya, ganyan. Okay. So, dito naman, sa kabilang side ng page, on the left page in the upper section, we have a panel with the girl who appeared on the opposite right page. And the panel runs horizontally. Here, as her panel horizontally straddles the other panels, she cycles through her memories. This bar panel is her moment in the present tense. She's noticing something now. Although this is the same girl who was the person remembering the past, the panels are layered so they straddle the boy who is being remembered and the girl who is doing the remembering. Ayan, medyo complicated talaga yung manga. Kaya, nagkakaroon pa rin sila ng basics on how to read a manga literature. Kasi, may pagka-complicated talaga, especially hindi siya parang ini-spoon feed na sa'yo. Kailangan mo talagang i-analyze and you need to know what specific panel is used for that kind of scene, ganyan. Kasi syempre, meron din kapag intense scenes, nagkakaroon din ng ibang panel. So, malaki ang role ng panel sa pag-express ng emotion or feelings ng character. The second one is that the characteristic features of panels in Japanese comics. In Japanese, a comma, not quit, it's a comma and that which surrounds an image, making a picture border, making then marks the limits of the image. Thus, a comma is the same as the canvas of a painting. The human subject views an object, and in order to reproduce the image in a form that is art, he needs a framing device. He stacks up these frames following the flow of time, just like one does with a movie or a photographic series. And in this way, a sequentially focused panel comic is born. First, an artist frames the object, and then he observes within his picture. Okay, so we're still focusing on the characteristic features of the panels in Japanese comics. So, merong term dito, ito ang comma. Hindi siya kuwet, pero ang comma is just like the blank canvas. And sa blank canvas, minsan meron siyang borders. Sa manga comics, meron ditong borders na tinatawag para makita ng artist kung ano yung limitation niya sa pag-illustrate. Kung ano yung limitation na pwede niyang drawingan, ganyan. Ayan. Sabi nga dito, before he lines them up, he breaks them down according to an abstract standard he calls time. So, yun. Hindi naman siya isang basic na picture lang. May pagkakasunod-sunod din talaga yun. At syempre, kapag nagbabasa ka ng isang comic, maiintindihan mo kung ano yung parang gustong iparating, kung ano yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng scenario na yun. So, ito naman ang third na characteristics natin. It is necessary to work with language using both the hearing and visual parts of the brain simultaneously. Because the Japanese language brings together pure hearing part words we call kana and pure seeing part words which are kanji. When Japanese are talking, we visualize kanji as pictorial images, making distinctions in words that are different but have the same sounds. Thus, Japanese has an aspect to it where fundamentally sound and image intersect at all times. So that is why it is a type of language where we can immediately swap out space and time. So yun nga. Of course, hindi lang naman puro images yung nandun. Meron ding language. At di ba kapag parang nanonood ka na rin ng anime kapag nagbabasa ka, tapos mayroong pictures, kasi parang sa imagination mo, you can hear them and you can see them moving. Ayan. Because of ito pa ang another characteristic ng Japanese language structure. Because of its symbolic quality with the kanji, it is quite relative whether one reads it either for its own wami, Chinese sound, or kunyomi, Japanese sound. Ito yung mga connections sa manga. Take a note of this one. The closeness between the pictures and the words, the loose quality of time sequence, highly stylistic or decorative panel compositions, and the utilization of white space, expanded interpretive possibilities for what happens between each panel. Yun nga, kapag magbabasa ka ng manga, hindi lang yung artistry or creative way yung parang kinoconsider doon. Kahit talaga yung panel, malaking bagay ang panel, kung gaano kalaki yung guhit, kung gaano kalayo sila sa isa't isa, ganyan. Yung kung paano naging close ang words sa pictures. At ito nga, yung time sequence. The next one, characteristics of the manga style. So, sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na yung parang western comics, diba? Pag nakita natin, my favorite is, parang hindi pa lang nakakapagbasa, pero like, yung parang napanood ko pa lang na galing sa western comic is yung Marvel, ganyan. Tapos, ibang-iba doon, kasi mas marami talaga doon is colored, tapos iba talaga. Ayan, characteristics of the manga style, the face, yun nga, sa anime, ganyan, Ito, nakikita natin ng almond eye. Ang lalaki ng mata nila, super exaggerated. Tapos yung ilong, ang liliit talaga super. Tapos yung mouth din, ang liit. Pero kapag gumanga, malaki, diba? The rapid switch from distance to close-up shots, the face is key to drawing into your character and keeping you in the emotion of the story. Ayan. Kapag nakita talaga natin sa anime, biglang kapag sumisigaw, nag-close up yung sa mukha nila, tapos yung background is parang intense. Ayun, kapag naman in love, biglang lumalaki yung mata, tapos parang lumalaki rin yung pupil. If I'm not mistaken, though. Sa hair naman, yan, sa hair, kakaano talaga, ang super creative ng hairs, kasi nga, the hair is a key characteristic and therefore needs to be elaborate and eye-catching. It is not uncommon for the character's hair to be long with many lines and of an abnormal color. This is the look of traditional Japanese manga characters and creates a visual dynamism that separates these characters from mainstream animation that comes out of the United States. So, ang hair sa Western comics sa nakikita ko, they're more like realistic than the manga. Kasi, dito talagang, ano siya, super emphasize yung volume, ganyan. Super bongga. Parang, talagang inaano nila as, para, ano siya, swak siya sa animation, for anime. Ayan, sa clothing and accessories naman, ayan. Kaya ito yung mahilig na i-cosplay ng mga, artists. Ayan. Pero yung mga din nila, yung mga clothing din nila, hinahango din ito. Sabi nga rito, for example, if the character is spiritual nature, then they might wear a cloak or a piece of cloak that floats to represent the spiritual plane. So, hindi talaga basta-basta. Detail is a must talaga. Kasi nga, especially sa clothing. This represents who they are. For manga, warrior characters, accessories are what define the character. Yung mga details nila, for example, if warrior ka nga naman, magdadala ka ba naman dun ng art materials? Kung ang role mo is a warrior, di ba? Hindi naman. So, kailangan talaga yung specific role ng character na yon may corresponding din na clothing and accessory. Exaggerated emotions. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Ito, manga characters are known for their over-exaggerated emotions. When a cartoon character cries, the visible tears fall from their face, but when a manga character cries, it rains down in buckets. Yan. Sabi ko sa inyo. Sa Western comics, mas realistic siya, pero pag anime, pag talagang frustrated yung character, makikita mo talaga na may mga guhit-guhit sa mukha. Kapag umiyak, halos bumahana dahil sa luha, parang waterfalls, gano'n. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa characteristics. The first one is layered panels that express a character's complex feelings. The characteristic features of panels in Japanese comics. Second one yun. And the third one is the Japanese language structure and Japanese manga characteristics. Ayan, characteristics of manga style. Napasama pala dun sa yung isa sa isang slide. Okay. Now we're going to proceed to the genres of manga literature. First one, we have shonen. This genre of manga tends to focus on action, sports, or romance from a young male point of view. That is why it's called shonen, a word which means boy in Japanese. Yan, ito yung example ay Dragon Ball Z, Love, Hina, and Sergeant Frog. Shonen. Remember that. The shonen, mostly pang lalaki. Ito yung laging kaya sabi ko nung bata ako, I hate anime kasi parang pang lalaki lahat, ganyan. So, may specific genre pala talaga siya na talagang, bata ako, I just don't like that. Because it's, genre talaga is for guys pala. Okay. So, shoujo, this genre of manga is aimed at girls from about ages 12 to 18. Shoujo series focus on romance and relationships from a young female point of view. That is why it is called shoujo, a word which means girl in Japanese. Example, Sailor Moon, Fruit Basket, and Peach Girl. Ayan. So, ito medyo nag-interest ako, pero sabi ko pa rin, since nagka-bad impression ako sa anime, I won't watch anime anymore. Sabi ko ganyan. So, Pero may genre naman pala talaga siya na for girls, like the shoujo. Ayan. Sailor Moon. First one, and third one is Josei. This genre of manga is aimed at adult women, usually college age and up. That is why it is called Josei, which means ladies in Japanese. Josei manga are similar to shoujo manga, except they tend to contain more mature content and topics. Example series are Happy Minya and Honey and Clover. Yan, seinen. This genre of manga is aimed to adult men, usually college age and up. This is why it's called seinen, which means adult in Japanese. Ayan. Okay. Example pala ng seinen ay Yori Aoshi and Battle Royale. Sorry for my pronunciation. Ito naman shoujo or Yuri. These are manga series that focus on stories revolving around lesbian relationships. Shoujo is Japanese term, literally means girl love. An example of shoujo series is Revolutionary Girl Utena. Okay, dun nga sa kanina shoujo, diba girl? Yan, girl love naman to. It's actually fascinating how they're open for that na may lesbian series. Ito naman is shonen or yaoi. These are manga series that focus on stories revolving around homosexual relationships. Ayan. Ito naman, ibig sabihin naman ito is boy love. Nakakatuwa, they're really open to same-sex relationships. And ito pa, Kodomomuke. These series will often be cutesy, moralistic, and fun. Both Pokemon and manga are anime are probably the most well-known examples of Kodomomuke series. Ito pambata naman to. Parang it's for general guys and girls. Basta bata ka, it's for you. Again. So I guess those are all the genres of manga. The first one again, we have shonen for girls. Shoujo. Oh, sorry. Shonen is for boys. Shoujo is for girls. Josei is for college age. Sabi say young adults. Seinen is for adults. Shoujo or Yuri is for a lesbian, girl love. Shonen or yaoi is for boy love. And the last one we have Kodomomuke. This is for children. So yeah, this ends my report. Sundan yung panoorin yung report ni Mr. Manzano because he will be tackling about the elements and the examples of manga literature, the most important pieces over time. And yeah, I hope you understand many things, especially the characteristics and genres of manga literature because they are important. And I hope na mapapaisip kayo that manga literature is an interesting piece to read. Yan, kasi di ba, from the panels and the characters talagang mahuhook ka talaga. So again, I'm Ayzel Bernardo, who reported the characteristics and genres of manga literature. Bye!